All right, looks like we are all set. Okay, everything looks good. So let's go ahead and get right into it. My name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. It is July 26, 2021. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next week and the week that was, talk about a few events that occurred a little bit out of the ordinary week, both from volatility and also just the pure, I would say, correlation that occurred last week. We had some market moves that have never really been seen in the market in quite a while, just with the relative speed and the, once again, high degrees of correlation. And what I want us to start off with is just taking a look at the SPX from last week. We had marked prior to the week starting the expected move for the week based on the option market. And this was approximately about a 70, let's see, I want to say this is, trying to remember off the top of my head, I believe it was about 75 to 78 points higher or lower. And we were coming off of a prior week where we had essentially stayed within the expected move. We didn't really test the highs or the lows. So from the perspective of the option market, this previous week in the SPX was calm. It was normal and, of course, expected. Now, last week, we started off with the significant gap down. And if you're following Brian's weekly market recaps, or you were just looking at market internals, you would know that that gap down was not only significant in terms of its size, but also its correlation coefficients to other sectors of the market. We essentially had really poor market breadth. And, you know, for those who have heard the term but never really gotten a really good definition, basic idea is you want to know number or relative strength versus relative weakness, usually advancing and declining on an index if you're looking across a basket of stocks. So if you have a basket of 100 stocks, 50 are down, 50 are up, you would say you have relatively neutral breadth. But of course, like every index that we look at, a lot of these are market cap weighted. So depending on which 50 are up and which 50 are down, the market can still move higher or lower depending on which market cap falls into which basket. And then obviously just saying up or down is just binary. In that sense, you can have your 50 stocks be very strong, putting up multiple percentage gains, whereas your declining stocks can be very timidly weak, you know, putting up less than a percent gain to the downside or percent loss to the downside. And that can lead to analyzing the market in more dynamic ways, ultimately having periods where certain sectors may be leading. Those sectors carry a lot of market cap and the breadth in the market could be strong. All of those factors together lead to very impulsive moves to the upside or the downside, depending. Now, with that in mind, we had this very poor market breadth starting Monday. And one of the ways to visualize how poor it actually was without going back and pulling up the intraday advancing, declining, or even just looking at what stocks were up or down on that day, you can pull up certain ETFs that represent more of an equal weight of the index or ETF index that you're reviewing at the time. So for the S&P 500, you can look at something like RSP. And what's interesting about this type of analysis is obviously it is just another data point in your analysis, but it gives you a sense without the dramatic weighting of technology and even in the short term healthcare to the S&P. It starts to remove that bias that stocks like Apple, Microsoft in the communication sector, Google and Facebook, discretionaries, Amazon, and then to a lesser degree, Tesla. These large market cap names, their movement, and especially their correlated movement, can really hide a lot of relative weakness in other sectors, especially if those sectors are smaller or just represent less of market cap for the S&P. But with something like the RSP, every stock represents a 0.2% weighting, and therefore of your 500 stocks, each data point in each stock's performance affects this one equally. And what was worth reviewing last week is we, of course, had this strong down session. Now, the S&P was simply making a new higher low in the course of the trend. We didn't know that at the time, but that is ultimately what did occur. And what was threatening about the market breadth is we were starting to test the lower end of a relative trading range. We had this previous swing low. This is a more reactionary low that occurred back in early May. And if you recall, back in early May, we were also threatening downside movement as the market had put in a lot of very balanced price action with no upside or downside. And then we had our significant false breakout and engulfing daily pattern. This is a reversal structure given back the gains of the previous session into this pullback to the 50. So just like every other pullback, we wanted to review how significant this down move was, how quick it occurred, and try to see if the trend was starting to become threatened based on, this pullback. The same thing occurred in the RSP, setting this low, and then ultimately on Monday, we saw things like the moving averages starting to cross in this trading range starting to become threatened. Now, of course, now that we're past last week, we see this has recovered. The market breadth has, in the short term, stabilized. And ultimately, if we're just treating this like any other stock that we analyze, we see that we are in a trading range. We have very clear support and resistance levels that so far the market has tested and confirmed to be holding. The picture does change, however, if we shift over to the same type of analysis in the NASDAQ or the QQQs. So an ETF like QQEW, appropriately named NASDAQ or QQ equal weight, will show that as of recent, the balanced approach or the more equal weighted allocation of the NASDAQ has actually been one of a bit more, I would say, overall bullish health. We're seeing a bit more balanced upside inside of this equal weight ETF. And even during the down move of last week, that first Monday session, this entire ETF looks very similar to the QQQs, only pulling back slightly through the 20 and then obviously breaching to all-time highs based on last week's rally in the Qs. And that can be seen here. These ETFs actually look quite similar just from a charting perspective, even though the NASDAQ is in a lot of ways even more skewed than the SPY. I believe the top 8 holdings of the NASDAQ 100 represent approximately 50% of the entire market cap allocation. So it's those same names coming together, those Apples, Microsofts, Amazons, Teslas, NVIDIA, and Google and Facebook. Speaking of Facebook, last week we saw some nice reactions from post-earnings in stocks like Snap and Twitter. But one of the main benefactors was not a stock that directly had its earnings, but still has earnings leading up this week, which we'll get to shortly. We saw the likes of Facebook giving off not only a great intraday trend and gap to new all-time highs, but if you're reviewing something like expected move in individual stocks, you'll know that just like with the SPX, the expected move range week to week is often something that you can play. If you get too far extended from this expected move, oftentimes the market will kind of gravitate towards and test back the upper or lower range depending on where you're coming from and where you're headed. But just like with any large unexpected move, if you have a lot of risk defined in these ranges, these option market-based ranges, and if you exceed them heavily, we're talking 2 times the expected move prior to that series closing for the week, you can have these more exaggerated moves, these almost 3-time normal movement, often called 3 sigma moves. These are very rare in the market, and usually they occur through some sort of volatile event. Oftentimes with earnings, the reason the implied volatility and the expansion of the expected move is done is because the market expects a catalyst to come in the form of earnings. And they're trying to essentially capitalize along with cap the risk of a known event coming into a stock. But when you have something like Facebook's, for example, which did not have earnings, but simply had some of the tailwinds of the great outlook and future guidance of Snap and Twitter, that can lead to these very exaggerated moves, and specifically with the option market breaching a 3 sigma move, which did occur. It almost occurred to the penny in regards to the range that was defined prior to the week open. So some notable movement last week, and obviously a lot of stocks caught that Friday bid, albeit maybe not all having the same sort of underlying catalyst or even sentiment-based catalyst. Stocks like Google, Microsoft, which is still gapping up and trending to new all-time highs, and then Apple, of course, keeping a close eye on that as it has tagged 150, and so far is trying to basically come back and retest this zone. So plenty of strength in the technology sector. This is going to continue to be the theme, assuming that things like interest rates remain relatively low and we do not see a sharp correction inside of the bond market. Now, TLT did put in a daily engulfing pattern, giving back gains on a previous session from the Monday and Tuesday turnaround in the equity market. But overall, if we're looking longer term, we just simply have a weekly bearish candle. We're still holding this sort of short-term momentum trend. And what we're looking for is, will the TLT and bond market stabilize, or will we see another more volatile pullback leading to additional volatility in the equities market? Ultimately, we can play either scenario, but it kind of gives us a sense of how quick these moves can be and what are some of the targets we can look for based on movements in a correlated or inversely correlated market like bonds. So, technology is loving these low interest rates. So far, they're continuing to rally. Financials are having a bit of trouble with the I would say the momentum and the volatility in this area. And then we still have our healthcare sector, which is very much a performer in recent weeks, breaking out from a trading range and seeing a lot of that upside along with technology. So now, with that said, this week, of course, is leading into one of the most important weeks for earnings. We have essentially all of our main market mover type names coming into focus. And we're going to be starting off after market today with the likes of Tesla. We also have Lockheed Martin reporting this morning. Those earnings should be out at this time. But as we shift into Tuesday, we can see the likes of Apple, Google, Microsoft, and a couple of other notable names like Starbucks and Visa, Triple M being very heavy in the industrial sector. Shifting into Boeing, McDonald's, Facebook, PayPal, and Qualcomm for Wednesday. And then heading into Amazon and MasterCard specifically for Thursday. So lots of heavy hitters throughout the week, along with notable names throughout blended in. But the theme remains that the focus is heavily on these large market cap names, these market movers that while the breadth of the market was poor, these names alone can hold the markets higher, and specifically in the NASDAQ and tech sector can essentially recover the downside that we saw. So as we move into this week, we just want to keep in mind the dollar is still in an elevated position. We have risk coming in with the likes of earnings. And just like with most earnings, we see a lot of run-up prior to the earnings. So sort of a buy the rumor event. We're seeing tons of momentum in those key names, with stocks like Facebook exceeding 3 times a normal movement for the week. The question remains, how much more upside do these stocks want to price in prior to their earnings? And post earnings, are they going to be rewarded given that their earnings are essentially pristine? Or will we see more of the second part of this entire scenario, which is the sell the news event? So looking ahead, we want to continue to monitor market breadth. And just like with any previous session, talk about the idea of passing the baton. Is healthcare going to be one of the market leaders moving forward? And is technology going to continue its strong momentum post earnings? Are we going to see the likes of Facebook and Google, which are communication and yet very similar to tech, also hold a candle as they've had such significant upside? And then finally, with the likes of Amazon reporting on Thursday, this could drive a lot of sentiment and correlated movement in either direction to any sort of retailing stock, whether that be positive with Amazon showing good guidance, good growth, and just having a lot of retailers sort of rally off of economic sentiment, or is it going to be, once again, a downside to price in Amazon's earnings a little bit more appropriately, those retailers seeing the same downside? We shall see. So, so with the dollar in its elevated position, obviously want to keep a watch on this. This is still a risk factor in the equities market. The dollar has not pulled back significantly, and so far holding in this upper range. Ultimately, this sort of impulsive move while the equities markets are making new all-time highs, a little bit of divergence here from the norm. We also have volatility, which we did see that sharp spike. That spike did sell off with the markets moving to new highs. But as with everything, we want to take a look and see, did we pull all the way back to whence we came? And are we also starting to build a little bit more of a bottoming structure? My opinion here is that the VIX does appear to kind of have found a floor in the short term. It doesn't seem to want to lose these lower price ranges. And with a lot of these sharp sell-offs, you can often take advantage of sort of a quick hedge inside of the VIX, with the understanding that if the market were to sell off more aggressively, a hedge inside of the VIX may be a good sort of balancing effect to your portfolio to take advantage of the downside when it is present. Most of these have been 1 to 2 day events, which is why it seems as if the market tends to basically discount these VIX hedging strategies. But oftentimes that one hedge and that 1 day of performance is enough to sort of recover the purpose of the hedge in the first place. And that is in lieu of the fact that the entire equities market, along with the option skew that we're seeing, is quite elevated. Oftentimes, when you look to have some insurance on a portfolio, you want to start with some very simple concepts like buying puts or just having some sort of downside protection. Right now, with the skew, the way that it is in terms of some of the highest readings ever, you can see that more clearly with just a line chart. Bring that to just a monthly to show how elevated the skew is. What this means is that it can be quite expensive to purchase insurance directly through the option market. Buying puts, especially out of the money puts, they are priced quite richly. And even with this high skew, even buying calls can be a more expensive endeavor than the normal. So we're getting volatility, and that volatility oftentimes leads to those VIX spikes. But the premium that you have to pay to purchase this insurance or even this more speculative upside is quite high. Just keep that in mind. If you are an options trader, you're basically paying up for a lot of these sort of straightforward directional plays, and often it can be more advantageous to maybe sell premium either further back in time or at least against that position, just to take advantage of this skew in the market. Usually you're going to see the skew more on the out of the money side and the further in time series. So that skew can be quite premium rich in terms of certain selling strategies. So last but not least, one of the big notable movements that we saw over the weekend, as it is open over the weekend, has been Bitcoin and essentially the entire crypto market. Now, we have some short-term plays that are going to be present today in the form of the normal Bitcoin miners. I believe Riot and Mara are both gapping up to the tune of 15+%. We're seeing Bitcoin futures and BTC USD, of course, gapping higher. And in the sense of the trading range, we are coming back to these upper 40K type levels to start to test the high end of this resistance. Now, mid to long term, obviously this chart still has a lot of work left to do with this sort of distributive head and shoulder, whatever you want to call this topping pattern that did occur in Bitcoin. There's still some downtrend resistance. There's obviously horizontal resistance defined by the 30K to automatic rally retest that we saw in Bitcoin on the first bounce attempt. All of these are things that we want to take note of, but the impulsivity of this move and the fact that we have tested these lows more than once we've confirmed that 30K is not only important, but oftentimes the way that we test these levels by breaching them slightly, by slowly fading into them, showing a lot of uncertainty and discomfort for people who are long. And then the fact that this rally occurs very quickly and with a lot of strength, this can trap a lot of bears to the downside in anticipation of thinking that this was going to break. And then obviously we did not see that scenario occur. So just like any trade, just like any thought process behind getting ready for something like a level or a zone in the market to be tested, you need to be cognizant of multiple scenarios and what your game plan is if you're going to trade them. Essentially, we did not break down. So in the sense of this entire trading range and the balance of this area, we've been in here for a few months, so it is quite balanced at about 35K. Oftentimes the next step, if you don't break down, you go and test the upper end of the range. That is what we are currently looking like we are doing. So short term, of course, very strong move. And just as always, congrats to the sort of more aggressive or even conservative bulls who were looking at this as a buying opportunity as opposed to additional downside. Of course, with a plan in place if that were to not occur. But we have stocks like Riot, which are, once again, gapping up about 16% this morning. That may have changed since I last reviewed. And obviously, these are going to be some things to look at and play today if they are setting up and giving us some opportunity in either direction. So hopefully those who are involved with that market are kind of looking at some of the catalyst news that maybe preceded this move. And specifically for those who are part of the chat room, we continuously talk about how the minor stocks often lead a significant move in the underlying by about a day or two. And what we did see was bottoming action in stocks like Riot and Mara the day prior to the 30K test and the ultimate reversal against that level. So this short-term thesis of miners are leading the underlying price continues to remain true, as we've had 3 occurrences of it so far. Obviously, with each sample size, you want to try and have as many data points as possible. But so far, so good on this thesis. And we're seeing a lot of upside with these moves, along with predicting some of the downside and the failure to expand that we saw with Bitcoin around the 28K to 35K rebound. So a lot of excitement, a lot of volatility to play. Let's move into this week with the understanding that the risk is high. We do have a lot of earnings that are going to shift market perception and give us more guidance and outlook into the next couple of months. These will ultimately drive some trading decisions and where the market will focus moving forward. And then with everything else we've reviewed, things like bonds, things like the dollar, and some of the more speculative markets now catching a lot of strength, this market may be in that sort of risk-on position currently, but with earnings coming out, we'll need to see what the reaction is post-earnings to get a sense of what's next. So, as always, trade safe. Let's go into this week with that open mind, with an understanding of what's to come. There are some economic events as well, with certain meetings and release of data, so we'll be keeping a watch on those as well. But short-term, day trading-wise, and even swing trading-wise, tons of volatility to try and capture, lots of opportunity. Keep your risk in check, of course. Look for defined risk strategies overall, and try to just capture a piece of some of this movement while the getting is good. We're obviously coming out of summer months, so this volatility is welcome and ultimately worth taking advantage of. So stay tuned for pre-market prep. We'll talk more tomorrow.
Hello and good morning, everybody. How are you doing?
Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Norm. As everybody may notice, I am still not Carlos.
That's correct. Are you? You're not streaming. You don't have video going to the room.
No, we're just
Now you do.
I'm just working on that.
All right.
And oh no.
What's wrong?
Okay. All right, guys. In the chat room this morning, I seem to have had some licensing issues here, so we're going to give you we'll give you a partial view here. You won't be able to see my camera, but you should be able to. You'll see all the stuff that we'll be reviewing. So that's a little unexpected. My apologies for that. Weekends, things go sideways. All right. Well, welcome to a Monday. As Jarad said, could be an exciting week. We do have a lot of earnings that are coming up, and I expect it to be busy this week with hopefully a lot of trading opportunities. We'll find out. I don't know about you guys. I love watching the Olympics because it always entertains me to be able to sit on my sofa and watch other people do amazing feats of physical prowess while I have a drink or some chips or something. But it's, I love the Olympics. All right, but why don't we get right into things? Because I do think there's going to be a lot to review. We seem to have a lot of things gapping down this morning, which is interesting. Why don't we start, Norm? Maybe you can give us an overview of what the overall markets are doing. And I know that Jared's just covered a lot of that, but maybe if there's any economic reports that are expected to come out this morning.
Yeah, I mean, all we have are home sales for this morning, 10 a.m. Home sales come out, new home sales specifically for June. So that'll be released at 10, and then there's a bunch of stuff coming up later this week. So we'll get into that as each day comes along. As Jarad said, a lot of earnings this week. We'll determine how things are moving. We're going to find two major undercurrents in the market this morning on the gap up list. Primary one is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up a good chunk this morning. It was around 39,000 last time I looked. As everybody knows and we discussed, we had been down in the high 20s and 30-ish range, and then it's bounced from there over the weekend. So that is on our gap upside. On our gap downside, common story we have discussed recently is heavy-handed regulation by the communist Chinese government on companies there all over the place, from fining TME to shutting down these education services we've discussed, TAL, EDU and such. So some concerns there. You're going to find a lot of Chinese companies on the gap down list. And so that's where we are.
All right. Well, we'll certainly keep those themes in mind, and I'm seeing that already reflected on the on the markets overall. As you were mentioning, Norm, we certainly, if I look at Bitcoin here, sorry, I realized I changed screens, but that doesn't work so well. Here, I'm going to do it here. Hashtag BTC. Yeah, Bitcoin's sitting at 38,855 right now, but yes, it was up almost touched 39,000. So it's certainly up from where it was last week, where you can see that it was significantly down, moved up, looks like, over the weekend. So we'll see how that pushes things overall on the markets. My goodness, I was looking at an hourly chart on the markets. An hourly chart on the markets. You can certainly see then the trend that we've had here on the markets as it just continues to power up. I mean, every time I think we're done, we go for another run upwards. So this week, who knows? All right, let's take a look at some of the things that we have on our list. The top of my gappers list is, as Norm already pointed out, dominated by the Bitcoin. So Mara, Riot, CAN, those are all Bitcoin plays. When I look at the three of them, normally Mara's the one, if I'm going to trade any, that I would look at. Riot can be okay as well. I'm not sure if you guys have a preference. I don't tend to play any of them, to be honest. But the ones that I will look at would be Mara or Riot. So just because they tend to have the better volume and consistent price action. So both of them have around 700,000 shares so far. CAN is lagging behind here a little bit. So I'm just going to get rid of that. If I'm going to set levels, I might as well keep Mara and Riot on the list. LAC is back on the list. It's I've seen it a few times. It normally only comes up at earnings, but I assume that this is earnings, maybe?
No, they have a judge ruled something about a mine that they have in Nevada. So, yeah.
Okay.
That was Saturday, I guess.
Really? They got like a weekend ruling on that. Okay.
Something along those lines.
Now, I've never traded. I can't remember ever trading LAC. Norm, do you have any experience with this? Is this something worth watching or not?
Do I have any experience with this ticker?
With the ticker, yeah.
I don't believe I've ever traded it, Peter.
Okay.
I've seen it on our list.
Yeah, me too. I don't know that I've traded it, so I don't know what to expect from it, guys. Right now, the pre-market action doesn't look great. We've got a lot of minutes here. We've got like 100 shares, so I don't like the price action. I'll leave it here for now in case it gets better, but I don't have high hopes. All right, let's see what else we got. MOXC, Moxie. Moxie and Inc. 300,000 shares, up 8%. Pre-market action looks horrible. Don't know what's going on with it. News?
I'm not seeing anything fresh, but this has been on and off our gappers list here in the last few weeks. Low float, so it can get moving if it does indeed.
Yeah, I'm looking at Friday. It looks like it had a big drop Friday. So this could just be a bounce back from that drop Friday after it was moving sideways for quite a number of days. So we'll see what happens with Moxie. Right now, this would be one I'd wait for it to appear on my gappers list because it just doesn't look great. Now, Coin is an indirect play against all that, the cryptocurrency, but it is moving up this morning, as you would expect, as its underlying, the things that it in turn trades are moving up. So pre-market action looks, we're starting to get a little motion. We'll see what happens. Only 136,000 shares, so not great so far. We'll see if we want to set levels. I'll leave it here for now. SPRT seems like we were looking at that last week. I can't even remember now. Anyway, yes, that's right.
Yeah, it's the one I screwed up the ticker and thought you were talking about Surreptive Therapeutics, but it was this one.
I was familiar.
Yeah.
Moving again slightly today, 174,000 shares, up almost 7%. Again, pre-market action is a little spotty. Maybe if it shows up in our gappers, we'll take a peek at it. Otherwise, I'm not seeing much to write home about. mRNA is back on our list. It's been pretty consistently, appearing here. Continuing to move higher. It's really been going over the last couple weeks. Let me take a look at the daily. Yeah, look at this push up here as this thing has moved from $200 up to $360 now, and doesn't seem like it's out of breath yet. So maybe we'll look at that for setting some fresh levels. Although, if I recall, we are at all-time highs on this, so I'm not going to have many levels to set really. AMC, one of our favorite meme stocks, has been actually sort of choppy the last little while. Not to say it hasn't provided opportunities, but it's still a Jarad favorite. But it's not an easy stock to trade. You have to know what you're doing if you want to take an opportunity. Almost 1 million shares this morning, only gapping up 2%, but there it is on the list. And looking to see if there's anything new that appeared on the Gap Up list. CLNN is I think the only thing that I've missed here. Clean Ink, spelled C-L-E-N-E. How odd. All right, Clean Ink.
Looks like a block trade.
Yeah, look at this. So, guys, when Norm says block trade, you can see all the volume sitting here right at 8:30. Looks like we just had two big sort of trades that account for almost all of the 135,000 shares. So nothing of interest on CLNN. All right, let's look at what's gapping down this morning. Starting with the top of the list here at ATIP, ATIP, which is ATI Physical Therapeutics, Therapy Inc. Sorry. Not a low float. 61 million shares in the float I'm seeing. Only 169,000 shares so far, though, but it does look fairly steady. Down 37%. There's got to be some bad news, I assume, on this.
Yeah. Oh, they had earnings this morning.
Oh.
And they updated their guidance. So I looked at this one quickly. Yes, it's down a lot. It just doesn't have order flow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing like the candles look fairly consistent. But when I look at the volume, we're only talking about 4,000 or 5,000 shares per candle. So far, not great, really. I'll leave it here just in case. Being that it's such a gapper, we may get some volume closer to the open. We'll see what happens. Next on the list is DAO, Udao Inc. This is Chinese stock? I don't know. It sounds potential. Anyways, 200,000 shares, down 22%. Price action, though, is spotty.
Well, it's the catalyst that I discussed earlier with the regulation and everything.
Right,
so
okay. I wasn't sure if
it's going to be trend we're going to find on a lot of these going forward.
So, not one that we've seen. When I think Chinese stocks, I'm normally looking at the BABA, Billy, PDD. I do see those on our gap down.
They're there too.
Yeah, they're all there. They're just not gapping quite as much. Those will probably provide better trading opportunities than DAO, unless it suddenly takes off in volume. Otherwise, I'd probably stick to the ones that we're a little more familiar with, quite frankly. So I'm going to get rid of that. BEKE, well, Becky here.
Oh my God, Becky.
Good old Becky. Been on the list now for at least a week. Down 19% today. Wow. And this is after sort of interesting day on Friday where it had gapped down a little bit on Friday, moved down, and then had a sort of a big bounce up in the afternoon. So I see we're moving back down essentially to the levels that it hit at a low on Friday. So we'll see if this move continues. We've got over 1 million shares, so it's certainly getting the volume. We'll keep an eye on BEKE. FUTU, one of our favorite tickers to say. Moving here again this morning, down 13% with 800,000 shares traded. Doesn't look bad, actually. I'm going to leave FUTU and let's set some. We'll set some levels on that. All right. Next, we've got SCKT, Socket Mobile. Wow, I haven't seen that on the list for a while. Pre-market action actually looks terrible. Most of the volume seems to have come right at 8 o'clock here this morning. So yeah, just over 170,000 shares, down 11%. Is this an earnings play, Norm, or?
No, they had earnings last week, but
Okay.
not seeing anything this morning that's fresh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, based on this pre-market action, I'm not going to keep a close eye on it. If it
There's obviously something, but the way that this thing traded last week and then came back, it's a low float. So it had that big day and then sold off, huge gap, sold off on Friday. Right. So to see it come in and come down some more is not surprising.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah, it's fair, actually. Now that I look at Friday, you're right.
It's very, very small amount of shares available to short on IB that I see. So it might not even be worth looking at.
Another good point. So for those of you that are new out there, as we look at it, when you look at your, we use DAS Trader Pro, but it's got this S for shortable. When I click on that, I get this window. It tells me how many shares your broker has. Now, I'm linked up to Interactive Brokers, and they're showing only 25,000 shares for short, as Norm said, which go very quickly. So by the time the market opens, there may not be anything available for me to short. So there you go. So that's SCKT. Like I said, we'll just keep an eye. I'll leave it for if it pops up on the scanners, I'll worry about it at that point. All right, Neuro is Neuro, N-U-R-O, again on our gappers list. As you can see last week, big gaps up, big moves down. The pre-market action is not looking fairly consistent. We have 300,000 shares. Again, most of it happened earlier this morning. Not seeing a lot of action right now. I mean, very, very low volume, in fact, over the last few minutes. So while it's gapping down 13%, I imagine this is just a continuation move from some of the excitement from the previous week. So probably not going to be a big play today. TME, well, Norm already mentioned the catalyst on this. So as a Chinese stock, it's moving this morning. I was watching TME last week to see where it would give opportunity. Frankly, like I said just a minute ago, I do like Baba and Billy and some of those others much better. TME wasn't looking great for me even during market hours, so we'll get rid of that. IPA on the list here, down 160,000 shares, down 8%. Well, this is probably just a continued move from some of the excitement from last week where they had their big news. And I'm imagining it's the same story with NRXP, which I can't remember but they had that news last week as well, right? I think. What was their news? They checking back here in my notes. I didn't write them down, but I know we were looking at them last week. There it is. Positive trials. That was a week ago on Monday. That's why I had to go back another couple of days. So, wow, look at that. Down 10%, 400,000 shares. Again, pre-market action. If I want to see something in play like this, I really want to see action every single minute. So we're going to get rid of that. TIGR is next on my list here. 800,000 shares. So we're getting a little more volume. Down 10% almost exactly here. But once again, spotty pre-market action. So don't love it. PDD. 500,000 shares or 570,000, down 7.9%. Same catalyst Norm has already talked about. In this case, I see my 8 o'clock settlement line, which tells me that there's sort of the big money is in this. So while there's not huge volume, this is more likely to move consistently once the market opens. Same thing on Billy. I find that you tend to get volume once the market opens, even when the volume is low pre-market. Now, in Billy's case, notice we're on short sale restriction. So this SSR shows that basically you have to short it on an uptick. That being said, I do have a lot of inventory, 1.8 million shares that is shortable, so there could be opportunity here on Billy. And last but not least, I've got, IQ that I'd put on my list earlier to take a look at. Same thing with that settlement line. Lower volume, though, and I find it a tougher trade during market hours. So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to take these two off so we don't have too much here. So I've got a list of things I can set levels against. I'm going to scan our gappers list here to see if anything else has popped up on it that I really want to take a look at. I see ALZN, which I know that was on our list last week. It was news-based. It was on Friday that it had some positive trials. That being said,
Excuse me.
didn't actually gap all that, move all that well. It was sort of a disappointment on Friday. It had that big positive news, but just sold off lightly, I would say, all day, right? No big moves, no big bounce back. Those are some of the things you look for when you're looking for these trades. So I'm not looking for, I don't think I'll put ALZN on my list. I've got NEO. I'll take a look at that because NEO can often be good. Now, this has fairly consistent price action, although it's in a range so far this morning. 1.2 million shares. We know NEO can trade well, so that certainly might provide some opportunity. Maybe I'll just add it on my list here. And let's take a look at what you guys have got. Anything that you want me to take a look at either in the trading room or out on YouTube. By the way, to everybody on YouTube, we appreciate you being there. Give us a thumbs up. We'd greatly appreciate that. And let me know if there's anything that you want to take a peek at. So I see a couple of people mentioning STAF, so let's take a look at that. Staffing 360. Wow, it is starting to get some price action just in the last few minutes here. Getting some movement. 2 million shares traded up, 16%. Wow. So this wouldn't appear in our gappers list, in case anybody's wondering, by the way, because some of our filters, we purposely filter out anything that has a very low price, and it closed the markets on Friday at $2.79. So under $5, it would not appear on our list. Today it's gapping up here, again, 17%, but it's still only a $3 stock, so keep that in mind. I'm looking at it here. It's got I'm trying to find it. 15 million shares, so it's definitely in that low float range. Any news that you have on STAF, Norm?
Yeah, there's something about forgiveness of PPP loans that they received and debt reduction. So that just came out this morning.
Okay, so that's giving them a little boost here. Look, if this price action and volume continues, might be worth keeping an eye on. So I'll add it to the bottom of my list. We'll set some levels. We'll see if it continues to look good as we get closer towards the market open. Thanks for that. What else, you guys? You're calling out lots of tickers on YouTube here. So FUTU we did take a look at earlier, as well as Socket, TAL, and EDU. Same story that Norm already mentioned, Mike, on those, with the continued pressure because of the the stated moves from the Chinese government. I see people mentioning LCID, so let me take a quick look at that. I don't know what's going on. I've got a daily chart. I've got absolutely nothing on the market volume this morning, and it says it's halted. It was halted at 4 a.m. So maybe, Norm, you could take a look and see if there's news. I don't know what's going on with LCID.
This is a SPAC. This used to be CCIV.
Oh, I keep forgetting that. Right. Okay.
Now, it's Lucid Motors.
Right. So, I don't know what to tell you about this one. I mean, absolutely no price action to gauge anything off of this morning. With it halted, it could be halted sort of through the open. So I'm not sure I would waste my time taking a look at it. Again, if it jumps up on scanners, then you can get an opportunity to watch it. Otherwise, I'd probably focus on things that I have some ability to sort of gauge what's going to happen at the open on. All right, in the room. Yeah, you guys are helping with the same stuff. Let me just do this one last one. Chuck, I see you're mentioning ITRM. Let's see here. ITRM. Not a familiar ticker to me. Iterum. I don't know. Therapeutics. Anyways. Wow, look at the volume of 12 million shares on this. The price action very flat, but we got a lot of volume flowing through this thing, down 38%. There's got to be some news going on.
Why are we going through a 70-cent stock?
Oh, you know what? I didn't even look. Funny. Good point. I didn't even look at the price, to be honest. I was just looking at the price action here. So, yes, 70 cents. Yeah, okay. Well, that, guys, look, $3 I might make an exception for, but Norm is quite right. When you get to 70 cents, the moves can be absolutely erratic on this, right? You could jump 100% in a single candle just because the price is so low. People are willing to take sort of big swings on this. That, frankly, right there, invalidates my risk controls. So no matter how great it may look, personally, I would just not trade it because it is outside of my risk controls. Now, if you've got a strategy against which you can trade it, by all means, but I would always recommend be cautious and only trade it if you know what you're doing. All right, so with that, I've got a good list. We got some stuff of which you can set levels. And being that it's a Monday, we actually, you know what? I am not really set up for. Do we have?
Yeah, we don't have Dr. Katz. We'll have him back next week.
That is actually good because from a technology side, it might have been challenging to tie him in. So we do not have Dr. Katz, but it is a Monday, and like I said, we always have lots of stuff happening at Bear Bull Traders here. So let's go to some of our community announcements, and Nora can sort of give us the rundown for this week.
All right, guys. So swing day trade discussion with Brian, 2:30 in the afternoon on most Mondays. And then, of course, you've got the onboarding and tech classes that begin at 8 p.m. Monday nights. That's Carlos, Kyle, and Mike teaching those. Then Tuesdays, Thursdays, noon, trade review with Eamon in the classroom. Success webinars Wednesday night, psychology webinars 8 p.m. Success webinars Tuesday night 8 p.m. Psychology Wednesday 8 p.m. And then the mentorship Thursday, you've got Andrew at 11 a.m., Thor at 8 p.m., and then Friday, he'll be happy I added this, is the crypto mentorship at 11 a.m. with Jarad. So we just more and more material coming every day here. All right. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m., you've got your man Peter there. That's thank you for picking up the slack, and even on this unexpected morning as well, about picking the right share size for you. That'll be 8 p.m. next Tuesday morning. Evening, tomorrow night. I'm losing my mind. I'm sorry. Something interrupted me early in this. I had a worker come to the house to take care of something that they never set an appointment. Said he's going to be here at 8, comes 10 minutes early right when we're in the middle of this. So a little flustered right now. Sorry. And then Wednesday night, you've got Dr. Kat's Town Hall. That is going to be at 8 p.m. and it's going to be with Thor and Jarad. So keep an eye out for that. And we will update the calendar on the webinars deal. Carlos is a big part of that and getting stuff scheduled. So since he has been out, that is not updated, but we will have content next week. I promise. We'll get you info on that ASAP. All right, if you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade, of course, with entries and exits, mark it up, post it on Twitter, tagging at Bearable Traders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use the hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, and Stock Market. We'll announce the winner each afternoon on Twitter and in the room, and then on Monday, the trade of the week, which will have been voted on by the team over the weekend from all the trades of the day. If you want to, if you're watching on YouTube, haven't been in the chat, use the promo code PREMARKET24. It'll get you a discount off the intro membership, which is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. Does not auto-renew or turn into any other kind of membership. You have to actively choose to become a member on a more permanent basis. And it also gives you access to the onboarding classes every Monday night that I just discussed a moment ago. Also, if you want to try out the elite membership, you get the first month half off, which essentially makes it the same price as the basic membership. Use a promo code options50. We're using that code because we just released and opened our new options education center. So take a look at that as well.
That is exciting. Absolutely. We got options now.
I want to mention.
Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
I got something to mention here, and this is interesting. I had a conversation on Friday with Andrew, and I we've been getting these super chats over the last few weeks, and this show, which is weird, I feel a little bit like a street performer in New York, with the hat out in front of me. I'm not going to dance. I don't care how much comes in, but at the same time, this show we put together with no intent of trying to raise money from viewership on YouTube. So didn't quite know what to do with that. We came up with a great idea. Each month, we are going to take whatever money is given in Super Chat for that month. Andrew's going to match that 1 for 1, however much that is, and we're going to donate it to a charity that month. So I'm searching for the charity for this month, and we'll announce that later in the week. So anyway, thank you guys. Great viewership. Carlos doesn't even know this. He was supposed to hear about it this morning, but he's out. So anyway, love you guys. Just hit those thumbs up for us. That really means more than anything. Really helps. So you guys look forward to it. If you have any great, and we have to be very general with the charities that we pick. We can't get super focused on one thing, but we'll announce them. Donate them to Tao. Oh man, that was priceless. Anyway, thank you guys.
Well, that's awesome news. So yeah, that's great to hear, and thank you everybody who's supporting us on YouTube, and we appreciate it. And like Norm was mentioning, Carlos, his personal adventure continues. So he had massive car failure with the family, and I can only imagine with young family, there is nothing worse than being stuck on the side of the road with a vehicle that is not functioning. So we feel for him. So happy to be able to step in and help support while Well, Carlos figures that out, and I think he's getting sort of a lift home, being that his car is out of commission for quite a while. But he expects to be back tomorrow morning, so that's what the reason why I am here again this morning after last week. So, with that being said. Let's get through these levels. We'll take a look then at what our moderators are going to be watching this morning. And we'll get you guys all set up for the Open, which is coming in just about 26 minutes or so. All right, let's start at the top here with Mara. You can see I've already got some daily levels set on Mara at 33.58 and 39.68. I love the look of those based on the daily chart. You can see there were levels of resistance previously as this thing moved up. If we move up again, I've got those set. Now, I need to set some levels on the downside. So let me just get rid of some previous lines here. I'm going to mark this settlement line here from 8 a.m., affectionately known as the tinfoil line. But on the downside, I will also set a level here at about $20.60. That's the bottom of this candle. That will give me a level if this thing drops to the downside, although we are gapping up about 13.5% this morning. Riot is also good. You can see I also have some previous levels that are set. 39.11, although I think I want to move this one down into the price action a little bit. So I'm going to move this down to 38. 38.09 is perfect. That's at the height of this candle. And then I've got another one at 44.15, which I do like because it showed resistance back in April at that level. Once again, gapping up here 13%. We'll see what happens. I'm going to set one more level, just delete some previous lines I see down here that I don't need anymore. Remove that one, and I'll set a line to the downside back here at 20, that's 23.93, because if it gaps down, that's where I'm expecting it to hit. All right, and then I've got the highs and lows of the previous 2 days, which are always marked, and set at level. I'm also going to set the settlement level right here. And there we go. Okay. All right, by the way, as we're setting these, for those that may be joining us new, Mondays we tend to get a lot of new viewers. I will talk about the settlement line at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. what we find is we get a settlement of overnight accounts, or this would be over weekend accounts. You notice it tends to have big volume, and then a small body with big wicks on it. Sometimes that sets a range in which a stock likes to trend, and the tips of those can sometimes set limits, areas of resistance and support. So that's why I mark it, just so I can be aware of it. Some stocks on some days pay no attention to it. Other stocks on other days can. So sometimes I mark it just in case it proves to be of value. LAC, I said I'd leave it on the list to see if it gets better towards the market open. So far, it's not looking better. Getting rid of it. Coin is actually not moving bad. I'm going to set the settlement level, and then I got too many lines here. Let me get rid of them all, and we'll start over here. Coin, I'm going to set these settlement levels again. And then on the daily, well, I've got the highs and lows of the previous 2 days here. If this moves up, I don't have a great level. It looks like it's been in different areas here, but I'm going to set one at 254. I'm going to put that at 254.50 because if it gets up there, I'm going to want to keep an eye on that because it looks like that's an area where it had resistance before as it bounced. A stock that's this high priced, you've got to be more general in your areas because, of course, it can move in a range and the spread tends to be a little worse. As you can see, the spread's $1 on this so far this morning, so and moving all over the place. All right, so that gives me some levels on coin. mRNA, what a mover this has been. As I mentioned, we're at all-time highs, so that doesn't really give me a lot of levels to work with. Again, I've got this settlement level that I can set. Whoops, this one is set in the wrong color, so let me just change the color on that one. All good to go. And we'll just be watching this to see if it continues to break out to the top side here this morning, if it has continued strength. AMC, always a fun mover. Again, if you know how to play it. You've got to be careful, though, because this doesn't I'll say it doesn't move like a lot of other stocks because it's in that meme realm. It gets a ton of volume. It doesn't always trade the same way. I expect sort of these top tier stocks that has a lot of institutional attention and volume to trade. So this trades differently. So I'm not saying it's not tradable. I'm just saying you've got to be aware the differences in how it trades. Jarad, of course, in our room has mastered it, and he regularly trades EMC because he's got a feel for it, right? And for him, it gives some predictability, and he likes its trading approach. In my case, I find it more difficult because I'm not used to those patterns. Anyways, setting some levels on AMC. 3136 is a level to the downside, and I'm going to set this candle here around 4650. I want a high side level because that is where this thing bounced in the past. 46.50. There you go. All right, so that gives me some levels to trade off of. ATIP is the next one, gapping down 40% here. Fairly consistently to the downside, so I'd be looking for this to move lower. I mean, this thing is now well down, like it's below $5. So I'm going to go back in time. Let's see, have we ever been down this low, or are we at all-time lows? Well, I don't see. I can't move back on the chart, so we have never been down this low, so we've got no levels to set. Who knows what will happen here? But the fact that it's all-time lows might give us some opportunity. Now, like we mentioned, the short volume is fairly low, 200,000 shares for short, so it's a little more than I think it was last time we looked, but still not a lot of volume. So if you're looking to short this, you may run out of inventory. You'll have to keep an eye on it. All right, but that's ATIP. Good old Becky. Becky is moving down 18% this morning. We can see this is sort of a second day move after the move it made on Friday. Right now, it's sort of moving upwards a little bit, but generally moving in a range here you can see throughout this morning. So not a lot of levels to set. I'm going to go back here and see what we've got back in time. I think so we're at all-time lows. So once again, not a lot of levels to set on Becky. We might just keep an eye on it and see what happens. FUTU gapping down here 11%, still just under 1 million shares. It's not moving great so far this morning. I'm not sure what to expect of it, frankly. I've already got my level set to the high side. On the low side, I'm going to set a level down here at just $100. Let's see, where did this candle? $100.13 was the low of this candle. Back here, low was just below 100. So, all right. So, obviously, $100 is a place to watch. If this thing gets there, look out, this could move lower. So we're at 110 now, so we got a little room to go if it was to go there, but it's quite possible as it's already gapped down 14% this morning. PDD, one of our Chinese stock offerings that is down with all of those. I see the settlement line here, and I'll just set on the daily. Well, we're down below all of the recent price action, but certainly not to all-time lows. I'm going to set some levels here where I see it sort of having bounced previously down at 75.50 and 69.80. That'll give me places to look at on PDD. Billy, exact same story. Price action doesn't look quite as good on PDD, although both PDD and Billy don't look great, frankly. So, look, I'm going to set a level to the downside here at 84.40 is the low of this candle. So let me just make sure that I get my level at the right place. And that'll give me some things to look at. Neo can be a consistent mover. You know, it's got a slightly different profile. While being a Chinese stock, is it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Chinese, but it's an EV, right? And they tend to move a little bit differently. So it may get some support today. We'll see. It's interesting because it's got a lot of swirling backdrop, right? With the political tension against these stocks in China. So we'll see what happens. With Neo today, it usually gets good volume, so you can trust on that at least. Although the price action, really depends on the day. Some days it's great, some days it's not. But just to set a level here, I'm going to set a level down here from the 19th of July, where it set a low of 40.48. So I'm going to make sure my level is right there because that gives me something to look at. And with the highs and lows of the previous 2 days and these levels I've already got set, that sets me up well. STAF was the one that was mentioned. It is still moving. So that's good. We'll see what happens here. $3 stock though, again, don't love that, but if this volume continues, then it might be good into the open. So gapping up only 10% now. Keep in mind it was higher earlier. This one, I would really want to see this moving up above 350 and then setting a new high above where it set a high pre-market if I was going to trade it, to be honest. One thing you can see on my chart here as well is that I've got these R levels. People are asking, how do I set the Thor levels? So Thor loves the pivot lines. That's what these S and R levels you can see on my chart are. I normally take them off when we're doing the pre-market, but I sort of forgot this morning. So if you want to set those, you go into Study Config and you use the pivot point setting. I've got it configured so that I use the Camarilla pivot points, however you want to say that. And then I've got, I use all of the R and S lines. You can see the S support lines I've got marked in red. The R resistance lines I've got marked in green for the downside and upside. So that's how I set them. Keep them on my chart so that I can keep an eye on them. So STAF, I want to be well up above this R6 line, but I also want it above VWAP. So basically at that point, I'm looking for it to show some strength where it's really going to start running. Otherwise, I probably would avoid it because of the price. All right, so that's it for what was on my gappers list. I'm going to take a look at some old standbys for me. That includes AMD. I love AMD. I trade it every day. You can see I've got lots of levels set on this thing. I'm still looking for AMD to move upwards generally. This morning, looks, well, it's gapping down 0.2%, but, this one could very easily move higher. And really, I'd want to see this up sort of above where it, the pre-market action where it's set. So 92.30 would be an area I'm looking at. You notice I'm within those pivot areas. So, I'd want to see this breaking out to the top side. Excuse me, and I have to go back here to bring these in. Look at my R4 level for today. Well, it's well up above my chart, so that's 93.24. So that has to move up quite a bit for it to get up above that R4. We know from Thor's teachings, if you're looking for a breakout on a stock, usually it needs to break up above R4 and keep going if we want it to get some price action. So maybe that's what we'll look for this morning. All right, last one I'll look at here is Apple, because it's just been such a consistent mover, and I know a couple people in the room are mentioning it. Gapping down 0.1%. Million shares, though. That's good volume pre-market for Apple, so it could be a mover today. I mean, not particularly in play, but we've been waiting for this thing to break this $150 level. As you can see, back here on July the 15th, it basically touched 150 and just could not get any higher. So is today the day? I don't know. We'll have to find out when the market opens, and we'll see what's going on. All right, with that, let's take a look at what some of our moderators in the Bear Bulls trade room are watching. Let me just bring this over so you guys can see it in the chart here. All right, let's go to the top and see what our monitor is. Thor's first in here with watching the SPY, NEO, and Snap. And on the secondary list, he's got WFC, not one I looked at, LI, Becky, and mRNA. Dima's watching Apple, LI, NEO, and X. Jared's going to be watching the Bitcoin names, especially some of the riskier ones as he's looking to capitalize on that volatility. Specifically, he's going to be watching Riot, Mara, HUT, SOS, CAN, and MSTR. Okay, so for options only on that last one. AMC, like I mentioned, he likes AMC, so he's going to be watching it every day. And then he's going to be watching NEO because of its relative strength. Tiffany is going to be watching Mara and Riot, so once again on that crypto play, and NEO, and secondary on mRNA and Apple. Jared is adding Tesla to his list. John is going to be watching his high of day break watch list, as he always does, specifically with a focus on mRNA, Roku, and Facebook. And Mike, in last but not least here, with his break of high of day scanner. And he's also watching mRNA and Facebook, and he's adding Apple to his list, maybe for that $150 breakout that we mentioned. Guys, we are going to be trading through the open live here, as we do every morning. We should have Brian and Andrew, as we do here, take us through the open. We're going to do a little changeover to that, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with you. We appreciate all the likes. If you can give us a thumbs up in the at YouTube, we would hugely appreciate that. I will switch the charts over, and we will come back with Brian and boy, I'm losing all my names this morning. Brian and Andrew, who are going to trade the open. Thanks a lot, guys. And I am praying that Carlos is all good and he gets back so that he can be back to the regular old pre-market show tomorrow morning. So fingers crossed for Carlos, and thanks as always, Norm. We'll see you guys again later. For those in the room, I'll be on this afternoon as always to take you through the close. Take care, everyone. Well, listen to that. That's my 10-minute alarm. We got 10 minutes to the market open. Looks like everybody's running late this morning. Where's my good buddy Brian? He's normally right out there ready to go. He's getting water. He's getting his tequila filled. You know, Brian just keeps a constant buzz, right? He gets that tequila filled up, then he's ready to go for the market open every day. Excuse me. Yeah, I sort of agree with Thor that the list is relatively weak this morning. Like, I don't have any huge movers. I think for my sake, I haven't really published my. Let me post my watch list here. Let me type it up here. But I think I'm going to be watching some of the old standbys. I'm going to be taking a look at Apple and AMD. I sort of like the look of Neo. And I might keep an eye on Riot. I don't normally trade Riots, but Riot and Mara, maybe they're a mover since Bitcoin jumped up so much this morning. And then I've had trouble with Facebook lately, but I like the fact that mRNA might be moving higher. So that's going to be my watch list to start, sort of at the open, and we'll see what transpires.
Okay, good morning, Peter. Good morning, everybody.
Oh, he's alive. Brian, how
I'm
are you?
alive. I am alive. Yes, I'm good. I'm good. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Looks like Andrew's in the office.
Good morning. Yes, I'm in the office, getting ready.
You moved your trading platform down there?
I did. Yeah.
Awesome.
This is the first time I'm actually. This is the first time I'm trading from office. Let's see if the trading the office has good omen. Are we doing YouTube live, Carlos? Should I go to Vmix?
Carlos is not here this morning. This is not Carlos, and yes, we are live.
So do you hear me on Vmix, or you just doing this here?
Just right here through the room. So when you share a screen, I will share your screen to all of our friends out there.
Perfect. Alrighty, so that should be my screen. Just bringing the trade ideas as well. So I hope everyone had a good weekend. I see that we are into a really nice week of trading. There's a lot of earnings coming. Hopefully some good volatility.
Lots of earnings coming here. Right. Yeah, AMC is popping up here. I was just looking at that. I might add AMC to my list here.
All right. Good morning, everybody. So everyone should be able to see my screen. You might just need to make a switch just in the beginning. How's that now? Is it better? Excellent.
Wow. NVIDIA is popping here.
Oh, you know what I mean? I think the audio might be because of the webcam.
Going on there.
Fix that.
Yeah, the way it's echoing a little bit, Andrew, it's probably coming from your not from the boom mic.
Yeah, so it's getting from the webcam. So I'm gonna get it from this. Yeah. So this is the one.
A lot of red on the screen today. Square and PayPal are up a bit. Facebook.
What about now? Is it better? What about now? Is it better?
I don't think it changed.
Same.
You might have to
Okay.
restart the microphone in the room because it probably still
Yeah.
does the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're looking for the scanners, just go to the top right. Go to the top right corner of the screen. You'll see a drop down beside the setting icon. You can either choose to watch Andrew's screen, or you can drop down that menu and put BBT scanners. Set that instead. Yeah, thanks, Dan.
All right, what about now, guys? Is it any better?
Oh, much better.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah. So when you have webcam, the computer by default might recognize the webcam microphone. Now it's just I changed it. All right. So AMC is interesting. I'm gonna watch AMC and let me steal other people's watch list. Mara, I hate Mara. What is Neo up to? I'm gonna just steal Brian's. Oh, Neo is down. I like that. Neo, back to volatility and Neo. So I'm gonna watch Neo as well. JD is down 4%.
Yeah, all the Chinese stocks are down again today. I thought there was some news about Tencent on the weekend.
It's interesting too.
The Chinese government did made some announcement about them.
Blockchain is up. Bitcoin is up,
man.
huh? 38,000, yeah.
Man, I wish I should have taken, I don't know why I didn't short Chinese stocks over the weekend. Jeez.
Timey. What's Timey up to?
It's a really low, it's a penny stock, $1.60, I think, $1.70.
The float on it. It shouldn't be low float, is it? Because I have 2.4 million shares for short. Tesla.
XBio.
It's in a range. Becky is interesting. Becky is really weak. SPRT, what's that one up to, Brian?
Yeah, it popped up, did the usual 8 to 8.15, 9 to 9.15 rip, I should say, and now it's pulling back a lot. If you don't catch those sort of between 8:30 and 9:15, and then you get close to the market open and people start selling.
All right, so I'm gonna watch. I'm pretty much gonna watch whatever that Brian is watching. Those of you in YouTube, we appreciate if you like and comment. That would be really, really nice. We really, really appreciate that if you guys can do that for us. Again, it supports the channel.
Not crazy about anything. I think
And subscribe. Yeah.
And subscribe. Yeah. I'm not too crazy about anything yet, so we'll just wait to see what pops up on the screen. AMC still is looking interesting.
Watch AMC as well.
Nvidia just had a big pop. Okay, here we go. It's market's open.
Watch. I'm gonna add time as well. See what we got in the time. TYME. SPRT. For me, I'm just essentially looking for volume. See if we can get any good volume. AMC, weakness on the 1 minute chart. Potential opening range breakdown. Let's see. If this closes as a doji, it might be opening range break up.
Yeah, I was going to say it held the VWAP.
Yeah. I'm adding a little bit, just as a FOMO, a little bit in there. Shouldn't have added actually, but let's see. If it closes as a doji, I might jump in there for a long. JD is weak, but Brian.
Yeah, wow. JD did a huge drop.
Here's my open position. Okay, let's see what AMC is doing. I'm getting out of AMC. Though he held the VWAP, but I just jumped in a little bit too early. JD looks like a short. I'm trying to take a short on JD, 67.65. Taking a short on JD and a 1 minute opening range breakdown. Qs are selling off. SPY is strong.
Long. We got long some riot.
Time is a strong. Adding a long on time to 178.
Long riot.
Let's see if you can go toward 2. Getting a time 178. Let's see, adding some time. Let's see if you can go toward 2. Nice, 185. Sold some 184. 7 cents is not bad for a stock that is $2. I'm getting out more, guys. Yes. JD, I don't like much JD, so I might get out of JD. Here's my open position. Window. How many shares do I have?
Still waiting for Riot to break out here. See if it can break above the VWAP.
I need my open
Space is-
position window.
Space is blasting off.
Okay, I don't know how many shares I have because I don't see the open position window, but I gotta be in a good shape. I think so. What's AMC doing? We're still holding. AMC is still garbage. Oh no! Don't drop! Don't drop! Don't drop! JD. I don't like much JD, to be honest with you. So I'm covering my JD position. I don't. Let's see what this time doing. It's a little bit weak now. I'm getting out of my time at the break even.
Ah, here we go. Here we go with Riot, finally. It's going to sell some here. 33.30.
What about close position?
Wow, JD is really, I bet you all the Chinese stocks are taking a beating here.
Yeah. I think a long on JD actually. I mean, it's not a great thing, but I'm taking it long on JD at 67, 66. Yeah, it really held the. Oh yeah, look at this. Selling some at 68. I'm taking a small reversal down there because it really held this 67.38. I'm getting out more above 68. I need to see my position, open window position. Are you kidding me? Where is that window?
Yeah. I'd be careful. This might be a short squeeze.
Oh, here.
See what happens. It could come back up.
Oh, yeah. What do I have? I have 3,000 shares of JD. Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
so this is I found it. So I have 2,000 shares of JD popped up. So I'm long. So let's see what it is. Time got destroyed. Oh, Neo, where's Neo doing? What? AMC might pop back up. I think a long on AMC at 38.23. AMC
just
might come back up.
Just out of Riot. I'm out of the rest of Riot.
AMC.
Flat.
AMC.
Oh, wow, AMC. Wow.
Let's see if we can break this 38.40 level. Then it's going to explode. Oh, yes. Yes. The office has good omen, man.
Nice. Yeah, long AMC with you.
I'm going to sleep in the office from now on. All right, I'm going to go through 840. I'm going to hold some. What's JD doing? Yeah, JD is also really good. So here's, guys, my positions. AMC, I have some AMC and I have some JD. AMC is going to go, I think, toward 40. Let's see if we can hold that. TNA, my TNA is getting better, up 3%. That's good. What's IWM doing? IWM is going up. Please go up, IWM. Don't be a jerk.
Yeah, it's funny. IWM. That's where the money seems to be rotating today.
Good. So I'm getting out some JD here. Oh, it's been a jack for a while. It's just that number was so negative that. So AMC. How's YouTube, guys? How are you? What did you do? YouTube people. AMC is gonna go through 39. That's for sure. Might not be a bad idea. Add a little bit here. I'm adding a little bit here just to see if we can pop toward 40. I think it's gonna go to 40. I'm adding a little bit to AMC. My new average is at 38.50, so that's good. Oh yeah, look at that beauty.
Yeah, here we go.
So selling out some more. Did you add with me or no? That was a good ad.
Yeah, I added a bit there. Yeah. I'm just selling some here. 44. 39.44. I think we might even get to 40 here.
I know it's gonna go to 40. I'm gonna sell some more JD at 69. Nice.
All right, it's gonna squeeze now.
Shoes are running up. Bitcoin is at 38,000. Scott Gottlieb, what did he say, Norm? Qs are coming back up. And I'm gonna hold AMC to a little bit more. So I have a little bit of JD still left. JD might go actually for the breakup high of the day, or 69 would be the place that is gonna bounce.
The volume's really dropped off on JD.
Yeah, that's true. I think AMC has the room to 39.60. I have this level 39.60. I don't know from where exactly, but oh yeah, 39.60 is the level back in June 10th. Let's see if you can. It's also a moving average up here, so there are definitely some resistances. So let's see if he can go toward 40. It looks like he wants to pop toward 40.
SPY is going for all-time high here.
Nice. Yeah, JD is back up to 69. It's a good number to sell some.
Yeah, I'm out of the rest of AMC. I think it might bounce off the VWAP here, but I got out the rest around 39. Just didn't like the way it failed. Spirit looks like it's kind of perking up here.
All right, AMC is bouncing back to my break-even point, so I might get out of it. No, you don't drop. No. Don't pass my...
Ooh, I'm glad I got out AMC. Ooh.
Shit, I'm still in there past my break-even point. Yeah, I might be short now.
I'm long some Spirit.
I'm getting out of AMC, guys. I lost a little bit of money on it. It's just past my break-even point. I don't think it's going to bounce. This drop was not cool. And I don't want to short it either. It's just a little bit jerky right now, the price action. I'm still long JD. That was a good squeeze on JD.
Oh, Sprint. Okay. Oh, I'm long Sport. Let's call it that. SPRT. Come on, be a sport. Just sure. I just sold some right at the VWAP there.
NEO was a nice opening range break up, actually. I totally forgot to watch it.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually done with my day. I think I had a 3-4 really good trades, so I don't need to really trade anymore. I think I had a really good day. Yeah, CPT Max. I remember that. Actually, I don't have my handcuff here. But yeah, no, that's good. I'm actually done with my day too, so I really don't see any reason to trade.
I'm out of the rest of Spirit. And no follow through the VWAP there. GD is. Are you out of JD?
No, I'm still having a little bit. I still have 1,000 share on JD. I want to see what it does. And probably gonna stop me out.
I think it's may have been a rising devil trade because it went way bad past the VWAP, but I think it just squeezed at the open. Let's see if it bounces off what it does at the VWAP here.
Very nice, guys. Very nice. So I had a really, really solid day. Really, really good day. JD was JD. I did an open 1 minute opening range breakdown on it, but I saw that it really doesn't sell off. Although the stock was down 5-6%, I saw that it's really holding. I was expecting a flush on the opening range breakdown. Opening range breakdown is more like a momentum trade, so you expect it to move fast, and it didn't cover. And I saw that this closed as a doji, so I took it on reversal. I really don't have a reverse. A trade book, to be honest with you, going long on a weak stock right at the open below the VWAP. But I kind of got a gut feeling here that this one is really going to bounce. So that's why I flipped my position to the long. And as you see, we got this squeeze. And I'm still long a little bit here on it. So I'm just still holding a little bit here and see if we can go back up or not. AMC, yeah, AMC was a long. This one, again, I shouldn't really have jumped in. Got to stop out. It was a little bit of loss and come back. It has claimed the VWAP, volume picked up, long, sold, and then added more at 39.50. And then this passed my entry point a little bit, and I gave a little bit of profit back. I shouldn't have. I'm
short some JD.
Yeah. And shorts and JD. Good luck with that. Pre-market low, huh?
Well, I'm just looking for it to lose the VWAP here. It's between the VWAP and the 9 moving average.
So is that 150? Are you kidding me? Apple is going to all-time high. Nice. Yeah, Apple is running to all-time high. This is funny. This was the company that Apple. Look at this move. Can you believe that Apple really went to $50 in the pandemic? Are you serious? The company that it was like $50. I know it split it. Yeah, so I split adjusted. Yeah,
covering some JD. Oh, geez, yeah. Yeah, this was just a big time squeeze on JD. I think.
Yeah. Okay. JD's back to my break-even point. Thanks to Brian for squeezing us. I'm getting out of my JD, guys. I'm all out on JD, guys. Thanks to Brian for shooting it.
My massive buy.
Snapping down. Apple, yeah, Apple might go for all-time high. There you go. Beauty. Is anyone trading Apple? Nice, very nice. Yeah, it was beautiful 5 minutes of in-range breakup. This is definitely gonna go for all-time high. At all-time highs at 149.94. Yeah, definitely 150 get there. Wow, nice scalp, really nice. I might scalp it for the break of 150. Let's see if we can get a pullback on it.
Just covering some more JD at 67.85. It might be making a higher low here on this pullback.
Very nice opportunities this morning. Really, really nice. Really nice trading today. It's good opportunities.
All right. Still short some JD here. I'm just seeing if it's going to roll over some more. We do have this level here at fair value. It's 67.40-ish. I'm not sure if it's going to get there. It looks like it's trying to hold here.
I don't trust time very much.
God, AMC was a real false breakout, eh? Fall dropped,
Yeah,
popped and
AMC.
dropped.
Seems like a jerk now.
Space is going to break out here. So we're through 30. It's kind of late to get into that. I'm all out of the rest of JD. It doesn't seem like it wants to drop anymore here. It's going to squeeze again. What else? Still looking at space.
Apple. I'm looking at Apple. Apple could be a 920 trade. Let's see how it does go up. Let's see for another 20 minutes or something. Maybe we can get a really nice. I knew JD is gonna go back up. I knew it. Seriously, I knew this pullback is gonna go back up. But I stick to my rule. This came back to my break-even point. I got out, but I kind of knew it's gonna go to test the 69.
Here we go.
But it's okay. You always have to stick to your rule. This is one of those times that you knew something, but it's better to stick to your rule of risk management. That if it comes back to your break-even point, get out. But I kind of knew this pullback is, see, damn it.
Yeah.
It's always better to stick to your rule and have this pain time to time rather than just to watch something flushes.
I know. I took a bit of while Andrew was talking, I took a bit of a scalp on space. I'm in and out of it. Got 20 cents on it. Riot looks like it's going to break out here.
New is gonna pop up. Lee. Yeah, the EV sector is workhorse.
Somebody's moving.
Yeah, this is the back alley. So there's, I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's probably the garbage trucks.
Yeah. When you get an office, you don't notice this stuff. My office has the background of back alley, and the first time in the office, I saw people shooting heroin in their back alley. Oh shit, that's a view.
Yeah,
Well,
draw the blood.
when you
Draw
get
the
in, you don't
blinds.
know that. Yeah. It's very work friendly. Yeah.
I'm not seeing stuff. Well, look at there goes Spirit, or Sport, I should say. Sport. It's trying to break out here. Volume's coming in on it, picking up a bit. Was that a gunshot?
No, it's still a garbage man. But hopefully they don't come every day at around 7, because then you're gonna watch this every single day at around this time. You're gonna watch the garbage people. What JD is doing,
Yeah,
Jared
he
is
is
gonna go for the
popping in.
breakup live today. Okay, they're leaving.
Good. Yeah, what is Neo? Yeah, Neo's ripping too here. They're all the Chinese
Apple.
stocks are kind of squeezing at this point. A lot of stuff has gone green on the screen. Wow, XLE really ripped. What the heck? That was red this morning. Holy cow, XLE just blasted off. XLE is an ETF for energy sector. So it's got stuff like Exxon and Chevron. Yeah, big pops on energy stocks this morning, right at the open.
Yeah, Neo is going for red to green, I think. That's definitely interesting. JD eventually did the squeeze that I was expecting.
Space is continuing to squeeze here.
Space, what's Space doing that?
Yeah.
Doesn't have a lot of order flow on that Space.
No. It's a kind of a meme stock too. AMC's popped back up again.
Yeah, AMC gets the volume. This time it might go up to 39. I don't know if I want to trade it or not, to be honest with you. I'm done with my day, but I'm taking a long on it just for fun, just to be in the move.
I see. I was looking at Becky. You're right. It is kind of basement. TIGR. SoFi just went green on the day.
So I'm taking that long on AMC, 38.75. Let's see if it can go to 39. See if the volume just continues to coming in.
Yeah, X has had a nice day. Funny, PayPal was one of the few things that was green on the screen this morning. Now it's red.
Okay, 39 on AMC. Wonder if this one goes to all-time high, to a high of the day or not. I'm wondering. Let's see if you can go. It might test the high of the day. Let's see, I'm getting out some here just for the sake of fun of it. Let's see. I think it's gonna go for high of the day, so I'm gonna hold this to see if it can pop toward 39.50. Or maybe not. See what it does. My stop loss would be at 38.50. Yeah. Doesn't look like a big squeeze. Reducing share size a little bit here. I might add above 39 if you get a squeeze, but if not, I want to just hold it small.
Yeah, I don't like.
I'm getting out of it. I don't like that. Yeah.
Things seem to have popped up, and now they're kind of flatlining.
Yeah.
Looking at the
It's,
SPY, the volume's really tapering off on a lot of stocks here.
Let's see what Apple is doing. Apple potential 920 trade. Let's see, it's a little bit too early for 920 trade, but
Yeah,
definitely
it is a little early.
I think a little bit long to Apple 149.57. See if you can small size, like only 300 shares now. Yeah. So 920 trade is long on pullback. So
Yeah. So basically, you have a strong stock. First 45 minutes usually of the trading day, and the 9 moving average and the 20 moving average follow it up, and then you get this sort of topping out pattern after a big run, and then it breaks through the 9 moving average, drops down to the 20, and you take an entry off the 20. Well, there's some videos in there's a video, 920 video in the education.
yeah, last week also in a mentorship session on Thursday, we built the trade book for 920 trade. So if you go to the webinar room, in the folder room on the top right, there's a folder icon. You can download the trade book that I built. So you can do that. You can, elite members, you can use that one. There's also a recap that I also put the link in there. So there's a few. So Apple is a little bit toppy. I have a little bit of shares of Apple. I was thinking of maybe getting a move to 150, but it might.
Yeah, no worries.
Let's see. I think Apple is going to go to 150. The question is getting a good entry. I think a little bit more here at 149.61. See if you can get the break of high of the day.
Like I said, it's a little early for a 920 trade. Yeah, Apple's going to go through 150 maybe here, eh? It's breaking out.
Yeah.
Still strong, still holding the 9 moving average on the way up. Space still looks strong. No, yeah, exactly. Well, that's how I always watch the 9 moving average, because the 9 moving average is usually what people trade off of. So it works both going up and it works going down. JD is still squeezing people here.
I'm getting out of my Apple here. I think it might not really break out this time. Or it might, but I just...
Morning, gentlemen.
There's no gentleman here.
All right. Good morning, degenerate
Anyway,
traders.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah.
Good
morning,
I was going
Peter.
to say that Apple has been acting a little odd. Like normally that break approach would work, Andrew. I've been watching it consistently for weeks now. It keeps threatening that 150, and then it breaks down. Even though if you look at the level 2, it looks like it's got every indication it's going to break it. But it's still not going there, so just be cautious on those.
Yeah, my problem, Peter, is the entry. If my entry was a little bit lower, I would have definitely had more confidence. But it's a little bit toppy right now. If it gets the 920 trade, if it comes back to this 20 day, I definitely go long heavy on it. But this might not really get, because it's so close to 150, it might not get to the 920. It might actually break it out. It's all the balance of the power, but it seems definitely toppy. That's why I got out of it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just got short a little Neo right at 44. Just looking for a small pullback here, nothing big.
Jerk AMC, this biggest jerk of today. Look at this jerk.
It's a tough stock to trade.
Jerk. I just wanted to stop me out.
I'm going to cover some Neo at 43.90.
Yeah, AMC is gonna go for the break of high of the day, 39.50.
Yeah.
Adding a little bit more just for the break of high of the day. He's gonna go for the break of high of the day.
For all of our friends on YouTube, we appreciate you joining us and being here with us in the mornings. As I mentioned, Carlos should be back tomorrow, so we'll have the pre-market show and then our live trading as we do. If you want to be able to live trade with us all day, seriously consider joining us in the trade room. We have a great sort of discounted price. You can try it out. You know, for just $39, you get a whole, $24 at the discounted price. You can use the code PREMARKET24. Join us for a whole week. See what it's like. I think you'll find tons of value. So consider joining us, and then you can make the choice as to whether you want to join us on a monthly or annual membership. So hopefully we'll see you soon in the Variables trading room. We'll be cutting off our live feed here in a couple of minutes.
Covered some more. Neo, I don't think it's going to break down much more than this.
Yeah, it's holding that level pretty strongly, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be out of it if it goes above 44 here. All right, so I'm out of it, out of the rest of it. Oh, JD is still ripping here. Still think Neo might be stalling out here.
Apple is going up. Apple is really holding, huh?
Yeah, Apple's strong.
Yeah, it's gonna go Apple.
Wow, NVIDIA's really, man, it sold off hard into the open, and now it's ripping, it's coming back up.
I think back on Apple a little bit here. Let's see if we can go there. AMC really cracked it. I got stuck in this AMC. Yeah. I'm getting back long on Apple at 149.72. Let's see if this time goes in there. AMC,
Yeah.
See, that's why the handcuff is good. AMC is.
There is an R1 level right here at 44.10. Yeah, there isn't a whole lot of liquidity. Like I said, volumes really tapering off here on a lot of stocks.
I know, Sifat trader. I got stuck in this AMC. I just chased it for no reason. Let's see if Apple goes up. Adding a little bit more on Apple. I think we might go. Okay, I'm getting out of Apple. Definitely not. Getting out of my AMC too, so that's the thing. Yeah, just keep losing money on them. Fuck it. Yeah, Apple is definitely at the 920 trade. I'm not gonna go long again on it. Just lost money on it. How much money? Just handcuffs.
Apple's right at the 9 moving average on the 2-minute chart now. It's sitting on top of it. Let's see if it,
AMC might go up, but I just I don't trust AMC anymore. I don't touch it.
It's a no touch.
No touch AMC. I added some here in this pullback, but I don't want to touch it anymore. It's just the garbage.
Just yeah, it seems to be having trouble getting through this 39.50 level.
Yeah. By the way, guys, we are running a different. We're running a different promotion this time, so you can have 50% off on Elite membership for the first month. So you can actually sign up for options 50 because we launched the options course. And so what you can do is you can actually sign up for 50% off for the first month. And then after that turns out to be $199. So that's the promotion that we are running right now. For those of you who want access to all of the courses and webinars and mentorships, all the recordings are available too. So what you can do, you can sign up for $99, watch all the webinars, and then downgrade back to $99. You can cheat like this if you want.
Chris,
That's one way of doing it.
it's quite the interesting trade on Tesla. Challenging. Just looking at that chart, it seems pretty challenging. There's some pretty big wicks on those candles, but seem to manage. Way to go. Yeah, Neo could be. It is kind of running out of steam here. The SPY is just flatlining basically right now. So it could be SPY could be consolidating to do something here, or it could just be into a. We're sitting right at the previous day close on the SPY. Huh. Yeah, JD is rolling over a little bit now. It's coming back down. Again, JD's been pretty choppy.
All right, YouTube people, thank you so much. If you can get to 450 likes, we can continue this. If not, Peter, just well, thank you guys for everything.
Yeah, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for that. That's for sure.
Nate, you love the UPST. I just I can't trade that.
Let's see if Apple gets that bastard. I can't believe I lost money on Apple. Why do you touch it? It's just the FOMO, man. It's just FOMO is real. AMC is a piece of garbage. It looks like it wants to go back up, but it just doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, UPST had a monster run back in June. Topped out around 175.
All right, everybody on YouTube, thanks again for joining us. We do have to cut our YouTube broadcast at this point, so hopefully we'll see you back again tomorrow morning. Like we said, really do please consider joining us in the room. We'd love to see you. And take care. Actually, maybe all our new members, if you're a new member in the room this week, maybe say hi. Let's see who we had, because usually the weekend brings in some new people. There we go. 194 Andy, hello. Random Sapien, I think you've been here for a while. But hi anyway.
He has been high here for a
PR,
while.
Dom, Oscar, Derek, Dom's Army, Roms, Farin, Kay. Oh, there's so many new people. That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And we'll keep going all day here in the room on YouTube. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate
Thanks,
that.
guys.